what happens with me too is, like, when I start to come down off of these, especially if they're really sudden and really, really strong, is like I'm literally left panting like a dog, and like I am totally exhausted.
Yeah.
Like the amount of energy that I just put into this explosive.
Usually at that point in
event.
time, that's when I started getting the gastrointestinal stuff, like horrible, like
Yep.
gas effects and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
just it's always connected.
My gas effects, though, my gastrointestinal stuff, up until I started using the super probiotics, were constant. Like they would spike, like you say, when everything gets flared up with the rages and stuff. But they were constant, and I would call them severe, because I've crapped my pants on numerous occasions because you just never can make it to the bathroom in time. Like I would go within, if I eat, I would have to plan to be around. I couldn't go anywhere until I've actually went to the washroom, and usually it would be within a half hour of eating.
I would have to run into a bush or someone's
Yep.
bush near their yard, right? And
Yep.
my pants down, and I also had to make sure I had Kleenex in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it felt bad leaving that behind, but the alternative was I was wearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I exact same experiences.
Yeah.
It just got to the point where when I was firefighting, I'd just carry a pack of bum wipes and lots of extra underwear.
Yeah. So what happened post Rwanda?
Post Rwanda, actually, we gotta talk about what happened in Rwanda, because that's where everything really started to come off the rails. Because that's where, because when I stopped taking the Mefloquine after Somalia, I was still having a lot of issues, and then we started up with the medication again in Rwanda. It's not like the drugs. The effect tapered off after Somalia. It's almost like the effects were the same as they were in Somalia, and they just ramped up from there. Like there was no increase in the symptoms, like slow increase. It was just like boom, gone. And I was having a lot of sleep issues. Like there's literally, and I chalked it up to PTSD, and a lot of it was PTSD related, but there was, like 2 weeks at a time, no sleeping in an operational theater.
I don't want to stop this line of questioning.
Yep.
I want to come back to the PTSD later, because
Yep.
I have a lot of issues with them calling the Mefloquine toxicity post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, that's a huge issue.
Yeah. So, but finish your train of thought first, please.
Yeah. So, but it was the chronic insomnia and all that, like all that stuff combined with the side effects from the Mefloquine. Like the final incident that I had in Rwanda that resulted in me no longer taking the pills, like right towards the end of the deployment, was I almost shot my section commander. And that was Warren Ashton, and he gave me shit for something dumb that I did something really dumb. And yeah, but we were at an isolated location doing security on the water purification unit, and I was just sitting there, and I was vibrating. Like I had my thumb on the safety, like because where we were located and what we were doing, we were ready to go. So I was just sitting there vibrating. Like I was like, all I could think of was double tapping him in the center of visible mass. And it was just, it took everything I had not to shoot him.
Now, just out of curiosity, was that one of those moments where you were kind of along for the ride?
No, this wasn't a rage moment. This was like,
the reason, so the other thing that
Yeah.
I experienced is, like I remember after we got back, I was looking at my leg and we were doing some suturing or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but all I could think of was if I cut open my leg, I could practice my suturing, and I was going through stuff like this. It was completely irrational thought.
Yep,
Um,
that's it. A
yeah. Okay.
completely irrational thought.
Yeah.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and I know lots of other guys who, like, and once again, similar experience on my part is, oh, if I walked out in front of that car, how much would it hurt? How much would it hurt?
Yep.
Would I get up afterward? You know what I mean? These kind of things, and it's just like, and I have to wonder, how many of the suicides were deliberate suicides, or if they weren't just high risk behavior secondary to this trauma that we've experienced. And of course, all the data and statistics are based on suicide notes. So, I mean, when I went off the road at 120 on my motorcycle, 50 meters into a ditch, had I died then, I would not have been a suicide, and it would not have been attributed to the Mefloquine. It would have just been me being an asshole on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, it's there's a lot of that irrational thinking that could have resulted in myself dying.
Yeah.
And part of it too is the suicidal ideation. Like I would create situations that could result in my death. Like, for example, driving through Algonquin Park at 3 or 4 in the morning, doing 140, up on that twisty road. Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Okay, I should be proud
just,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you just you catch yourself doing stuff like that. Like even recently doing construction, I got balance and dizziness issues, and I was like 4 floors up, walking wood eye joists out on a steel I-beam, not even tied off, just all angry and pissed off. Got to get this fucking done, and just fuck this, grab the fucking I-beam and walked out there, put it down, next one. Then you come back, you're all done, and you're just like, and you look down over the cliff or the edge there, and you go, okay, what the fuck did I just do? That would have hurt, because you're looking down into a big pile of rebar and all this other shit right under where you would have fell.
One of the guys I used to work with when I was on an anticonvulsant for 12 years, and they actually did a pretty good job of managing my symptoms and allowing me to sleep. The side effect, of course, was that it destroyed my entire endocrine system, and I had to get off the anticonvulsant. When I did that, I was working at the time, and one of the guys I was working with said, "Man, one minute you're speaking to you, and then the next minute it's like you said, the pupils were dilated. This glaze comes over your face, and you just knew nobody was home. And do not say the wrong thing. Walk away. Just you know what I mean. It was like And then
I had one of those moments up on the roof of a condo, and I had one of the young guys start lipping me off, and I had one of my Mefloquine rages.
Yeah.
And the only thing that kept this kid from getting thrown off that roof was the fact he was like 110 pounds soaking wet, and he was could snake through the trusses faster than I could. I'm serious.
Yeah.
If I would have got my hands on him, I would have picked him. I would have threw him right off that roof. And that was, another fine Mefloquine rage moment.
Yeah.
Because like after about 45 minutes later, when the boss sent me home, and I was sitting in the vehicle, and I came down, like I was just like shaking. It was just I realized how close it came to me getting my hands on Josh and tossing him off that roof. Like,